If it means taking a step back from this fraternity or sorority, I'm not scared of you. I gotta do what I gotta do to get the presence back.
This is crazy. If you make an idol of an organization, that's a you problem, not a problem with the organization itself.
Sir, your counsel is not even right. So why would I even listen to anything that you have to say?
Yo, what's going on, everybody? This is a channel where we find the truth, seek understanding, and be the light. It's your boy Big Blue. Let's go ahead and get right into this. Based off of the thumbnail, you know exactly what you're here for. Apparently, and this is one of those situations where people will say, well, if you weren't a part of it, then keep your mouth shut. Okay, fair. This is fair. But there's something that we have to really look at when we're talking about these things, because there seems to be like some misunderstandings that's going on as far as like the word, the Bible, and what we do here on earth. And let's just go ahead and just take a look. And if I'm wrong about something, as always, go ahead and let me know. Put in the comment section what you think or my misunderstanding about the situations, and then we'll talk about it. But let's just go ahead and get straight into the video first. All right, y'all. So this is a little crop. So essentially, guys, apparently, just like with Pastor Anthony Mitchell, Pastor Travis Greene, who I didn't know was a pastor or minister to some degree, he said some things during his service that the Black community did not like. And honestly, this was interesting because based off of the other videos that I've seen that I'm going to bring up as well, this was very like low key. Like if you heard it, yes, but it was low key. It wasn't nothing that was big compared to other people when it comes to these Black sororities, fraternities, and such. So let's go ahead and get right into it.
My friend group, I got to get the presence back. If it means taking a step back, if that means changing my friend group, I got to get the presence back. If it means taking a step back from this fraternity or sorority, I'm not scared of you. I got to do what I got to do to get the presence back. Listen, I'm qualified to talk about this. I was the polemarch.
And that was literally all he said. If that means he got to take a step back from his sorority or fraternity, then I got to do that in order to get back. To get me back, to get God back. I didn't watch the whole sermon, but this was just a snippet. And this is clearly a generalization of what he was saying. People took this and kind of ran with it. But at the same time, it's a denouncing at the end of the day. I'm taking a step back from what it is that I was a part of. So let's keep going to hear a little more on what, expanding on what he was referring to.
Of Kappa Alpha Psi at Georgia Southern University. So I'm not just throwing out aimless stuff. No, I lived this before, young people. Got arrested me in my early 20s. I did not know why I was so bound by pride and by perversion. And God said, Travis, it may be the pledges you made over your own life. And so I had
pledges over your own life. Let's keep note of that.
To rebuke and reverse things I spoke over my own self. I'm too pretty to die. Says who? Saying all kind of crazy stuff. Oh, noble Kappa Alpha Psi, to thee I give my praise. And God's like, that sound right to you, Travis? It sound right for you to give your praise to anybody but me? Oh, if it's tight, listen, that means that the Holy Ghost is working on you. I had to do it, ladies and gentlemen. This ain't what I read about. It's what I had to live out. And I had to take a step back. And I said, no, I cannot come to homecoming. No, I can't go on a Kappa trip. No, I got to take a season to detox from spirits that I introduced to myself. And now the same bros who I couldn't show up for right out of college now call me for prayer. We have been seduced by idol worship and don't even know it. Your job is an idol. I got to get overtime, so if I got to work on Sundays, I just got to work on Sundays, huh?
And he's not even talking about just a fraternity. He's talking about all things that we're making an idol. And that's probably the whole premise of this sermon. But what do the Black people hear? They just hear that he was denouncing his fraternity. Not even the fact that he's going across the whole spectrum of idols. Not spectrum, well, not the whole spectrum, but he's not even just talking about the fraternities. He's talking about things that we do and idolize. But for some odd reason, we're stuck on the fraternity. Why? I don't know.
Idols don't look like what they used to, ladies and gentlemen. The devil knows you ain't crazy enough to bow to no female statue. So he'll clothe it in things that look cool and look appealing. And you don't even know. Before you know, you look down and look back up and you're not like yourself anymore. And David said, I have to do what I have to do. If it means putting my life on the line.
Interesting enough, this is what some people have said in the comments. His personal convictions shouldn't upset anyone else. These are personal convictions. Yes, It shouldn't upset anyone else. I don't know why people are getting upset.
If that means changing my friend group, I got to get the
Sorry. Somebody else says, this is crazy. If you make an idol of an organization, that's a you problem, not a problem with the organization itself. Why is it that so many people feel compelled to leave the organization if it was just a him problem? That's like saying, when people are like, oh, I have an issue with somebody and I have an issue with that person. It seems like I can never be good with anybody. Everybody's always fake around me, this, that, and the third. Well, one is the people that you hang around. But two, if this person say that it's you, that person says that it's you, that person says that it's you, maybe we should reevaluate who you are or reevaluate who this individual is that everybody is saying this person got a problem. Now, a lot of people may think the same thing, but at the end of the day, when you're following Christ, you have to get rid of these idols. And again, it's not a matter of just statues and you're out here just worshiping. It's who you're putting your time to, what you're putting your thoughts into. Anytime when these things come around, what activities that you're getting yourself into, it's all these things. Let's go ahead and check out some other stuff. Look, y'all, there's plenty of verses. Idolizing and idolatry is all over the Bible. Too many verses to even count. So when we talk about idolization, what exactly do we mean? We mean we're giving time, we're giving energy, we're giving reverence. We're putting our minds that there's something that is above us. God should be above everything. Jesus should be above everything. Your salvation should be above everything. Giving praise to God should be above everything. The thing about when it comes to the I-9, and again, I was not part of it. Just a quick story. When I was at school, which surprisingly enough, I also went to Georgia Southern. When I was at school, you guys already know my channel is called Big Blue. When I was in high school and college, you can kind of say that I idolized the color blue. Like it was just blue, everything. I needed blue. Like the second I saw blue, I'm like, oh yeah, blue. And then like the color blue, I was attracted to blue. And even the idea of, oh, if it's blue, I'm gonna go with whatever that is. And some may think that's just harmless, but it's like I'm making choices based off of a color. So I'm making my decisions just based off of an idol of something that I deem as pointing me in the right direction, pointing me in a direction in which is going to lead me to some type of benefit. So again, when it comes to like looking at crystals or those Ouija boards and stuff like that, you're seeking something that's outside of you for answers, for blessings that isn't God. This is called idolizing. And I did idolize the color blue back when I was younger. I mean, do I still wear blue every now and then? Yeah. Is it my favorite color? Yeah. But I'm not sitting here like, oh, blue this, blue that, all this stuff. I don't even have time to be doing all that to begin with. But to get back to the point, or to get back to my story, when I was in school, when I was at Georgia Southern, obviously, you guys, if you're in the I-9 or I-9, we're not doing taxes. If you are part of the D9 or you know of them, you would obviously know that I would have tried to go Kappa, not Kappa. No, that was a joke. It was Phi Beta Sigma. That's who I was trying to join because I wanted some type of brotherhood that they talk about, the Black Brotherhood, being part of this Black community of profound, prestigious young individuals, Black men that just do good in the world. And, they were high on the servitude. And at that point, I realized, like, I think a gift of mine is serving. And that, at least at my school, that chapter was big on, community services and just like hosting parties and this, that, and the third. So I'm like, oh, okay, yeah, this is something that I could join, so that I could be a part in, and I could like really like, mesh with guys that think a lot like me type situation. Lo and behold, God had prevented me from doing that. Granted, a lot of the mistakes were on mine, but I think there's a lot of the witnessing the situation that I was in. Of course, you had to pay to get in, and I did not have the funds by no means. And I had no way of making the funds. There was no Uber back then, so I couldn't do Uber. I didn't even have a car. There was no quick way for me to make money. I've been searching for jobs since my freshman year, and I didn't get it till my very last year. And then on top of that, at that point, my grades was already slipping. I was about to get kicked out of the school. And so I needed to be in good standings in my grades in order to join the fraternity. And it just wasn't there. And when I tell you, like, every time there was a party, I was talking to somebody that was a Sigma. I know a couple of Sigmas. And like, they were always around me. And I'm just like, yo, these guys literally always around me. I went back to New Jersey during while I was in college. I went back to New Jersey, and then I was talking to my old basketball coach. Come to find out, he's a Sigma. And I'm like, bruh, it has to be fate. It has to be that this is the organization I'm supposed to join, because these guys are just always around me. But I never joined. Never had the opportunity to. And it's interesting because based off of the things that I heard and not all chapters are like this. Some chapters are heavy on the rituals. Some chapters are heavy on, and again, just the same thing like Travis said, the certain words that they hear, the chants that they sing, it's like you keep repeating them and then it gets embedded in your mind. You may think that, oh, I'm just living, it's just whatever. But no, these are the things that you sung over and over and over again during your initiation process. And I don't even know what rituals that they got going on, but just the idea of rituals and secrets is already bad enough. And me still growing in my faith, I didn't even come to a realization of that stuff until after I had left school. And then I'm like, okay, yeah, maybe it was a really good idea that I didn't join. But it's like there's all these things that just take place and it becomes an issue. Every time when I think of the I-9, I don't know anybody that can just be a part of the sorority or fraternity and not be associated or not be a part of something that is sinful. What do I mean by that? Like I said, they do good acts. There's some that do some stuff, some that don't. But if you don't, then if you're not taking part of the activities, the festivities, the parties, the events, and all that stuff, then it's like, what was the point of you doing it? Type thing. I'm guessing this it's a requirement to some degree that you are at this party, that you're at that party, that you come to this event, come to that event, all this different type of stuff. Now, when it came to, especially for me, so this is the part when it would have been a conviction for me. I dealt with the heavy sin of like lust and all these sexual desires and all that stuff, testimony. And so when I was in school, I was away from my wife, who was my girlfriend at the time. So a lot of times I kind of kept to myself to stay away from women, to stay away from that temptation. Anytime I went to a party, especially if it was a Sigma party, every time I was tempted, because why? These women, what they call the Zetas, they were dressed in blue, and I was heavily addicted and idolized the color blue, and that appeased to my lustful desires. That would not have been good for my relationship with my now spouse if I were to join that organization, and I would have constantly been around all these women at these events, and then the women that are wearing the sister chapter that's wearing this color that I love so much, to where it's like, oh man, this woman is wearing blue. Oh snap, that's a nice blue type thing. Because I was young back then. That's the things that was coming through my mind. So it's like one of those things where it's like, yeah, that's a conviction for me. But who's to say that's not a conviction for God knows how many other people? Now, if they're trying to walk with Christ, and they will feel the same thing that I would. But if they're not, then they're not. It's just an organization, smash and dash with whoever, and then that's it. Go to a couple parties, get drunk, and then that's it. And get older, do some extra stuff on the side, and then that's it. Go ahead, walking and strolling and all this stuff, chanting all this crap, what he was talking about, giving praise to the Sigmas and Iotas and all that stuff, the organization, and that's it, right? That's it, right? Guys, these are the things that are coming out of your mouth. These are the things that you proclaim. Your words are powerful, especially in a spiritual sense, because what you continue to say, you eventually start to believe, and then that's where your spirit lies. And this to coincide from the point that it wasn't just that he was talking about. Yeah, he brought it up, but he also mentioned the same thing with work. There are plenty other things, plenty of organizations that's out there that we idolize, celebrities and churches. People will go and say, oh, I follow this pastor, or I follow that pastor, or no, my allegiance is with this pastor or that pastor. Sometimes there's specific chants that they have at churches at the beginning and at the end that they just say, and it'd be about certain things. Like there was one church that said nothing, their chant was nothing but when I give and I sow, I get back. First off, that's not even in the Bible for you to give money and then receive money back to that degree to where it's a transaction. That's not how this works. But that's what they say every Sunday. This is a problem. Church culture can be idolized, even though it's in the church, the lower seed church. It can be idolized, and we need to steer clear of that. You see what I'm doing here? I'm not just talking about the I-9, I'm talking about other idols. Let's keep going. When we're talking about politics and policies and stuff like that, all this stuff shouldn't dictate how you move, how you walk, how you act. If you vote, and that's it. The only reason I keep track of certain things that's going on is so that people can be awake of exactly what's going on. I'm not saying vote Republican, vote Republican, vote Republican. No. Because if you ultimately don't feel like, look at my Trump hands. If you ultimately don't, oh, sorry, y'all. If you ultimately don't line with the Republican Party, then that's absolutely fine. But I also do this so that you can see what's happening with the other side and kind of get an idea of both hands. Now, you choose what you choose, but at the end of the day, that's it. It shouldn't be I'm a Republican to the end of life. And then when we have, conversations, then I, sit here and bash the Democrats and all that stuff and whatever. Because at the end of the day, none of that stuff matters. It doesn't matter. If I'm looking at something on the news, I'm trying to see what's going on, what's right and what's wrong. I'm not sitting here and be like, oh yeah, I'm stuck with the Republicans all the rest of my life. No, because at the end of the day, if things start to change, then I need to focus on what is going to work for me, my family, and the country as a whole. But moving forward, when it comes to sports and allegiance, guys that, just hail, I don't know, whatever soccer team, basketball team and stuff like that. And it's not even a matter of it gets to a point of what is it that this thing is really causing you to do? Are you singing praises to these people? Are you worshiping this sport, this organization? Or, are you going there and you're getting drunk at these games and all this stuff? Are you, I don't know, you spending all your money on paraphernalia and all that stuff, just banners and stuff? I'm a UGA type, or I went to UGA, I'm an alma mater UGA, and, or in my case, Georgia Southern. I just buy all the Georgia Southern apparel. It's all over my house. It's all over my car and all that stuff. And that's where I put my money towards. Do I idolize it to that degree? You can have a couple stuff. Yeah, you could buy like a little banner, this, that, and the third. But like, I'm talking about like literally I have a whole room that's Georgia Southern. I go to every single game. I do all these things. I go to all these events, and then they get into some crazy stuff. Idolizing is what we're talking about. And the other crazy thing that we mentioned is culture. You guys are gonna hate me for this, being black, putting your race before Christ, putting your culture, ethnic background before Christ. Me being Haitian before being Christ. I put my Haitian heritage, I put my Haitian culture, the things that Haitians do, before what Christ told me to do. And I've seen that plenty of times at my old church and just in the Haitian community as a whole, where people will say something and they do something, and then it's like they're apparently claim to be Christian, but it's like, which is more important? Where is the priority at? Is a priority of you being a Haitian in this situation, or is a priority being a Christian? Because as if right now the two are not together, they're separate. You doing this act or taking part of whatever it is that's going on, if you go with the Christian side of it, or would you go with the Christian mindset of it, means that you're betraying your culture, or vice versa. If you decide to go in the with the Haitian mindset or action of whatever it is that's going on, you're thus disobeying the Lord purposefully. And that's the difference. I keep bringing up these two sides because it's what the Lord wants us to do, commands us to do. And then there's everything else, which is the world. So when you have the world on this side and you decide to do things on that side, knowing that the Bible says different, and that's the important thing. Does the Bible say different? Are there specific scriptures about what it is that we're doing right now? If the answer is yes, and you're still here, then yes, there's something that's holding on to you, that's keeping you from God, from learning more about God, from having a relationship with God, thus keeping the commandments and having that discipline and living the way that we're supposed to be living. Guys, this is the way. Guys, this is the way. Let's go ahead and keep going, guys. So here's all right. So I have a couple of videos here in regards to some responses that some people may have in regards to the denouncing. And again, look, all I did was just bring up the video. Travis Greene had mentioned his denouncing of his fraternity, and then he brought up the other things that can easily be idolized, just as I did. And people feel some type of way about it. So let's go ahead and take a look and see some responses from some of the people on their situation.
Travis Greene is a 40-year-old black man with a blonde frohawk. That alone disqualifies him to say anything about Jesus to me.
And the title of his video is "I'm sick of denouncers." Now, where does your allegiance lie? After everything that I just said, it's like, where does our allegiance lie? That's where we have to really take note of it. And that's the thing that that's the thing that Travis said. The devil is crafty. We're no longer in that time period where people are just going to sit here and idolize a female statue anymore. He's going to try and manipulate things that we see, things that we take part in, the words that we say on a daily, and maybe not on a daily, but anytime when we have these events, these strolls, and, anytime when there's a new chapter that's coming in. These are the things that we repeat. And again, God knows what happens in these rituals. So yeah, he has gold hair, whatever the heck may be, and he's 40 years old. But what does that have to do with the word that he's preaching and the fact that the Bible says that we should not have any idols? What is the definition of idol to you? That's my question for Homeboy. What is the definition of idol to you? Because that's really, like when we have clear definitions of these things, then we can kind of take a step forward for them. But without a definition, like you can say like anything's permissible at that point. And it's like, even though I'm over here on this side as far as a definition and have all of these like meanings to me, you could be over here and just have like two. It could be very broad. It could be very broad, and it's like, come on, man. Who is it that's really taking up our time and our thought process out here?
Ounce black fraternities, elderly people, the babies are about to be cut off their benefits and go hungry. You claim that's the message that the Spirit gave you? I don't know what spirit you got. I don't know what spirit. No. The black fraternities are not the ones that's causing great distress in this country. So,
and you're right. It's not. You're right. There's other factors out here in this world that is causing a lot of stress. Black fraternities and sororities, is it causing great distress? Well, it depends on what you're talking about, distress, but to a degree, yes, I agree with what you're saying.
You need to be denouncing that administration that you sang for in 2016. That your brother-in-law / manager who was so happy to say that he is a Trump supporter, okay? And that he told you to cut the phone. And he wouldn't even allow people, the pastors and other people, to talk to you. Sir, your counsel is not even right. So why would I even listen to anything that you have to say?
So again, are we listening? Are we listening to what is being said? Is Trump the devil? Is Trump a dictator? Is Trump Nebuchadnezzar? And I'm not sitting here riding truck, and I know a lot of people are gonna say that, but it's like, at the end of the day, this is the man who the majority of America have voted into office. Now, one could say that the Germans are the one that led Hitler into his position. I mean, I don't know the whole backstory in that, but at the end of the day, these are majority sound people. And if everybody really cared, then the majority of the black people would have voted, but they didn't. Anyways, aside from the point is after everything that I just said, there is so much more that is affecting him and that can affect other people, in which other people idolize, that keeps him from God. What the government administration is doing right now is not affecting people in their relationship and their spirit with God. It's affecting them here in the now. But this is where we as a community can help other people. Things can be done in regards to this situation. But when it comes to your spirit, and your relationship with God, that goes way beyond what's happening here in the world because of the decision that an administration is making. Because at the end of the day, when you die, what's going to be more important? The fact that you were hungry for a week or two, and some people are probably going to clip this, maybe not, but the fact that you were hungry for a week or two, or the fact that you're going to hell. Because instead of putting your focus on God and trying to build a relationship with God, you put your focus on idols. I'm not even going to say just the fraternity and sororities. I'm going to say idols as a whole.
You support an evil administration that some people even put on God-like status. If you ain't denouncing...
And you're right. And like I said earlier, people will put that as too. Idols. You can vote and then be done with it until the next time the election comes around. It's easy. But when you're a part of an organization, even if you don't do nothing in the organization, all I did was vote. And that's it. I didn't swear no allegiance. I didn't sign no document saying that I'm a part of this. I didn't have to do no rituals. And all I did was vote. That's it.
That, sir, I'm not trying to hear nothing that you're saying because your spirit is way off. Okay.
That's how people feel. Y'all put in the comment section how y'all feel in regards to that. Let me know. Now, here's a quick response to those. This man is speaking facts. And I just want to say, we really have to determine what it is that we're following, guys. What it is that's I can't say this enough. Let me just let him speak.
Kind of grinds my gears when you have a person who denounces and renounces a fraternity or a sorority, and you have people who try to, oh, you denounced it because you made it an idol. You denounced it because God told you not to do it. It's like we try to get mad at the person for denouncing the fraternity or sorority just to try to escape the conviction that comes with saying no to the world and saying yes to Jesus all the way.
No to the world and yes to Jesus all the way. There's certain things that you just have to put away. And the thing is, when I can't say it enough.
Way. Travis Greene was saying all type of stuff like, I'm too pretty to die, and I praise the old noble kappa. Like, yo, my life was operating out of the words that were coming out of my mouth. People like comfort rather than conviction, and it's obvious. You know it's a cult for real when they get upset at you for leaving. You know what kind of grinds my gears?
Come on, y'all.
If God tells me to denounce, you better believe I'm going to. Well, talk about a full circle moment. The night I posted that video, I was severely attacked in my sleep around 3 a.m., of course. And let me preface this by saying I'm a dreamer, so God does speak to me through dreams, sometimes multiple dreams a night. But that night specifically, I had one of the most demonic encounters in my sleep. One of the most demonic ones I've had in my entire life. When I woke up, I heard one word repeated over and over and over again, and it was denounce, 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 denounce. And I was immediately reminded of what I had posted earlier in the day. And in that moment, I knew that I had touched a territory that was ruled by a kingdom outside of the one that I serve. The next morning, I woke up to comments from members accusing me of breaking Alpha Kappa Alpha's laws of discretion and secrecy.
And this is what will happen when you choose God over the world, all of the spirits of this world, and there's a lot of principalities in this world. They will come for you. People will come for your neck. Not literally, I hope, but they will come for your neck and try to shame you into the decision that you make, into finding and seeking the truth and following the truth and following the God that put us here on this earth, as opposed to living in our own rebellion.
Secrecy. And along with that, I had comments that were saying the rituals and covenants that are a part of the initiation process were sacred and that they
Rituals and covenants were sacred. You don't even have to say exactly what was going on. Just that alone. There were rituals and there were covenants that were sacred. Rituals and covenants, things that, if we look at the Old Testament, were against God. God says specifically against witchcraft, against fortune tellers, those that speak to the dead, these type of rituals, and any type of covenant that's outside of him. He speaks against these things. He tells the Israelites, do not follow these people and their ways. But they did so anyway, and they were damned, and they were put to destruction. God gave them to the enemy. Guys, it's the same thing back then as it is now. It's just in a different form. And just like with the Israelites, they think that, oh, there's nothing wrong with it. It's just a little bit of this and a little bit of that and a couple words and stuff like that. That's all it is. Guys, come on. Y'all that's going to be upset of this video. Like, and this is to those that are of the faith. Of course, those that aren't of the faith are not going to really understand what I'm saying. And if you want to, I mean, there's the Bible. Read the Bible. Look up there's a couple of YouTubers, Corey Minor with Smart Christian Channel, all things theology. You could check Pastor Mitchel at 2819. I think it's 2819. There are churches that, but there just has to be that discretion of knowing what's true and what's not. And they're speaking from the word, and the information is coming from the word, and it's nothing but the word. Then you know that this is true. But if they're speaking on other things, like they grab a sample of the word and then go off of experiences and everything that's going on in the world and being black, this, that, and the third, then you know that you're talking, that this is a false prophet that's speaking to you. But anyways, to get to the point, if you're not of the faith, then yes, this isn't going to make sense. If you claim to be of the faith, this should make sense. If you're reading and you truly keep to heart the Bible that we read, truly, and you're truly of the faith, then this will make sense. And you too will feel conviction. But if it's not, then clearly there's some things that we're not understanding. If you can point out in the Bible that we practice and preach that it says otherwise, by all means, correct us. But if not, then come on.
could not be changed or questioned. And that's when my eyes opened even more. I was like, oh, I'm really a part of an organization that places its laws above the laws of Jesus Christ. Not long after that, I began receiving DMs from members quietly voicing that they had the same concerns as me and had been experiencing conviction, and basically that they were willing to do whatever it takes to change the initiation process. Like they were just ready to link up and change it, which was amazing. Love y'all for that. But that is also what made me really torn. I was like, okay, so do I denounce or do I stay and try to be a light in forbidden territory? So over the next couple of days, I sought God for clarity.
Now, here's going to be the interesting thing. Now, okay. So now we're just going to jump right into, I have two specific videos in regards to those, not pertaining to the situation here, but when it comes to denouncing, and see the way that they talk and see how their mindset isn't really focused on the way. And if they're not religious, which I don't think neither of them are, then okay, that makes sense. They're not going to understand why we're doing it. And they're not going to understand why people make a big deal about denouncing it publicly. If you love your brother and you're walking towards the edge of a cliff, and you just so happen to stop because you saw it was the edge of the cliff, and your brother that's walking right behind you just so happened to try and go around you when I was about to walk the edge of the cliff, would you let him fall off the cliff? Or would you stop him because you love your brother and you want him to live? Wouldn't you stop your brother from going off the edge of the cliff? This is what happens when we're denouncing, because people don't take this seriously, but those that take the Bible and the word seriously and understand that God is the truth, and that Jesus is the only way to get to heaven, they will stop their brethren from going over the cliff. And for starters, is to get rid of anything that can be idolatrous.
I'm an attorney in real life. I don't play one on television. And I am also a 36-year member of a D9 sorority. Because these are my personal opinions that I'm going to talk to you about, and some of you are going to find them a little controversial, I'm not going to name my sorority, but if you know, you know. Let's talk about the people who are denouncing and what we can do to protect our organizations.
The people that are denouncing and what we can do to protect our organization. So just like any organization, they want the organization to continue to run. You can't have an organization run without members, right? Of course, you're going to have some type of idea, something that they can implement to protect the organization, the college organization, mind you.
So people who want to denounce, they should absolutely be allowed to do so. If your religious or spiritual beliefs are inconsistent with anything about our organizations, you should be able to leave. I want to talk to you about how they leave and what we can do legally to protect our organization. I think every new initiate and every current member of the D9 organization should be required to sign a non-disclosure agreement. And
Non-disclosure agreement means that you can't talk about anything about what's going on. Kind of sketch, right? Why wouldn't we be able to talk about anything? You see these in like corporations and businesses. You can't talk to other people about this project that's going on, things that were coming up, this and the third, or you just can't say anything about the company or what the company's doing, what the company did. What is it about these this global organizations, these D9 organization, that would need an NDA? It means that you're hiding something. What would you be hiding?
NDA. An NDA is a legally binding contract that requires you to keep certain information confidential. So in order to be a new member of our organizations, you would have to sign this.
Mind you, this thing has been around for decades, clearly. I don't think if that was the case, if that was something that they would be able to do, they would have done it. So I'm pretty sure you're not the first person to think about an NDA, but clearly it's not a thing. So
NDA. In order to continue to be a member in good standing, I think you should be required to sign this NDA also. And let's talk about what the NDA should say so that they will protect the organization.
All right, what does the NDA say? Let's go.
And you should be able to leave and leave us in peace.
Leave us in peace. What does that mean, guys? What does that mean? That sounds cultish to me. That sounds cultish to me. We're out here in this corner, in this cave. You are not allowed to leave our cave and talk about what we're doing in the cave. Just if you leave us alone. It will be out in this corner while we attract other people to come in this corner, to come in this cave and do and take part of this, what we're doing. Would you want your sibling to be a part of this? Somebody that's of the faith to be a part of that? And again, I don't know exactly everything that entails in it, but just off of the few information that I have off rip goes against my Bible and my God. So I'm not for it. I'm not. And I would encourage those that are also following the same Bible and God that I do to not be for it. It's as simple as that. Is that preventing their numbers from increasing because they don't have the same, probably small in their faith Christians that are joining in? Possibly, yeah. But at the end of the day, where's your salvation at? Come on, guys.
These are the things I think should be in the NDA. Number one, if you decide to denounce, any correspondence between you and your national office should remain confidential. You cannot go and publish your letter or anything they send to you on the internet.
Sure, whatever. That's fine. I don't know what's in the letter. I've never seen the letter or whatever it is that she's talking about. Yeah, I don't know what's in the letter, but if you know what's in these letters, go ahead and put it down. I mean, hey.
Number two, you cannot reveal any confidential information about the initiation process of the rituals.
Initiation process or the rituals. There we go again. This is somebody else that said these things specific. Somebody that's still a part of it. It says initiation process and rituals. Guys, rituals. These are activities that are being done outside of God's holiness, outside of what God has given us provisions to do. These are humans' ways of meddling with the spirits, with the principalities. Guys, come on.
That you gained because you went through the process to anyone. Number 3, you cannot disparage the organization. So a non-disparagement clause means the organization is not going to say anything bad about you, and you're not going to say anything bad about us.
Now, what bad things are we saying aside from the truth? I don't think the last 2 people that we talked, or the last, the lady that said that she denounced, I don't think she said anything necessarily bad about the organization aside from the fact that she felt the conviction, aside from the fact that she felt she needs to be burned away because of the spirits, aside from the fact that she mentioned that it completely goes against the God that she serves. So what bad thing is being said? Now, other people that may have denounced, maybe talking about, I think there was some instances where they were saying, people had died during the process, or, somebody was brutally beaten up. But then at that point, what is really bad if it's not what happened? So at that point, it's slander. And I'm pretty sure you can get in big trouble for slandering, especially for an organization like that. But come on.
Number 4, if the organization believes there has been a violation of the NDA, they can enforce it through private confidential arbitration. Arbitration, because you don't want this in the court system, because if it's in the court system, it's going to be public. So therefore, the organizations would have enforce it. Not going to say anything bad about you, and you're not going to say anything bad about us. Number 4.
Okay, number 4 is going to be like a dead giveaway that this is sketch. What is it about these organizations that they continuously have to hide? Let's go.
4, if the organization believes there has been a violation of the NDA, they can enforce it through private confidential arbitration. Arbitration, because you don't want this in the court system, because if it's in the court system, it's going to be public. So therefore, the organizations would have an arbitration clause. That's how they will enforce their NDAs. Number 5, if the organization has to enforce the NDA and they are successful, then you, the person who is denouncing, who's leaving, will have to pay the organization's legal fees. Number 6, if you violate the NDA, there should be a liquidated damages clause in the NDA. That would be a set amount of damages, money damages, that you would have to pay to the organization if you violate the NDA. And I would suggest it be something substantial, like $10,000 or $20,000, because money, it will motivate people to adhere to the confidentiality agreement that they have signed. I think all D9 organizations should adopt this, because no 30-day member of any of our organizations should be allowed to be out there just spreading information willy-nilly. So
now, when she mentions that 30-day, if you see something that isn't right, the world should know. And if that's the case, and we're signing an NDA to be part of an organization, what the heck are we signing? Anytime that you're having to sign an NDA for something, you should always question, what is it that this company or organization is hiding that will require an NDA? It's just my tip of the day.
I have no
All right, let's get to this last gentleman. Let's do it.
idea how D9 people keep denouncing. Like, first of all, after like 3 or 4 years, you really don't be doing nothing in your fraternity or sorority, but just
And you're probably right.
waking up and putting on your license plate. Now, I get if you like one of them people that's on like a 30, 40, 50, 65 people line. I get why y'all denounce. Y'all ain't got no friends. Y'all didn't cross. Everybody knows this. It's not a secret. Y'all walked across the stage. You cannot take 60 girls to a parking lot to pledge. Wink, wink. Do you feel what I'm saying? But you just denounce them for like religious reasons. Nobody even calls you. Nobody texts your phone. No evil spirit or deity is like, oh yeah, like go do some evil. You're literally going to work and going home, and you have a wristband on, and you like, oh, the Lord told me. No, He didn't. No, He didn't. You're lying. You're lying for clicks and views. What are you doing?
And to me, that last homeboy, more than likely, I mean, I would think he's not of the faith. Which there's gonna be people that's not of the faith that's joining these organizations. Which it's a thing. It's a thing. So if you do leave because of religious reasons, or you do leave because you see the truth and how being in this organization can be an issue, same as my experience of what possibly could have happened if I had joined the organization, you wouldn't have joined the organization. I mean, heck, the same thing even goes to, like, just to bring up another idol that I had. Video games. Played video games heavy. I mean, video games was a part of my life. It was one of my mental ways of just separating myself from the world, the situations that I had when I was younger. And then on top of that, I love the stories. I love the games, being able to complete it and having some type of accomplishment in my life, type thing. But when I got to college, it became a real heavy thing. And that's because it was my scapegoat to avoid other things that I didn't want to get myself into to affect my life, my relationship, and all that stuff. And then it came at a detriment because I literally did that majority of my time when I was in school. I had no self-control when it came to games. As soon as I was done with class, I was on a game. Like, without question. And I spent hours on the game, and where I could have been studying and advancing myself, I was on the game. Where I could have been studying the word and advancing my relationship with God, I was on the game. And instead of reading the word, I just assumed what the word was and what the truth was, and my own ideologies, my own theories on how God works. And instead of reading the word, I would just play games. So again, it's like that thing of, where are we getting our information from? Where are we getting our truth from? How is it that we're internalizing it? And how is it that it's being a priority? Where on the priority is our relationship with God? And how much of that priority, how much time in that priority do we put in towards to really understand the truth? And then from that point, how much of it do we hold true to be loyal to where we're trying to reach this side of holiness and stay away from this side of the world? That we live in the world, there's going to be things and activities that we take a part in, but you can easily decipher what's going to affect your relationship, or what you be putting yourself into, and what you shouldn't. But that comes with reading the word, guys. Read the word, read the Bible, see what the Bible says, see what God specifically tells us to stay away from. See what we're supposed to be putting our focus on. Build a relationship with Him. Build a love for Him that you would want to learn more, and not of the things that are in this world, but live for each other. But y'all let me know what y'all think. I'm going to catch you on the next one. Take it easy. Peace.